Welcome back, everyone. Today I want to go through the musical journey of Brandy Norwood. Not only she was a singer, she was also an actress known for her television roles. A multi-talented woman, she had to overcome a ton of obstacles to get to where she is today. So without further ado, this is the story of Brandy Norwood. Before we begin, if you want to see music bios or more good videos like this, hit the subscribe button. Also, I've started a Patreon account. On here you get more copyrighted material and they'll be uploaded 48 hours prior to YouTube. If you want to support or visit, link is in the description. And without further ado, on to our feature presentation. Brandy Rayana Norwood was born on February 11, 1978 in Macomb, Mississippi. Her mother, Sonia Norwood, worked as an HR specialist and her father was an established gospel singer, so it was no surprise where her musical traits came from. At an early age, she started to sing in the church. The Norwoods realized their daughter was musically gifted, so they relocated to Carson, California at a better chance of discovery. She would be booked on a number of talent shows and will often perform songs from her idol, Whitney Houston. By the time she reached her preteens, she was ready to shop for labels to sign. Her parents nearly tried every label, but they said no for one reason or another. But she got a big break at a National Black Reunion where she performed The Greatest Love of All. Around this time, she was hired to sing background for an upcoming R&B kid group named Immature. Chris Stokes, who was managing Immature at the time, wanted to manage Brandy as well, but Sonia wasn't down with that as she felt that Chris would treat Brandy as a second priority. Chris did get her first acting role on the show We Are Family, but nothing came much of it. Brandy attended Hollywood High. She wanted to attend a performing arts high school as she wanted to hone her skills, but it wasn't a time for her. Being in a performing arts school, they will often get casting calls from big-time productions to fill in roles. Brandy would never receive those calls. One incident, her guidance counselor got a call about a potential role which could have been perfect for Brandy, but the counselor shunned her by saying, "You're cute, but you're not drop-dead gorgeous." Brandy would wind up leaving the school after just 1 year. But the patience paid off when Daryl Williams, an A&R for Atlantic, asked Chris Stokes to look at some of his artists. Williams quickly got an eye for Brandy, and he set her up for an audition for Atlantic. In their head, Sylvia Rohn. For her audition, she sang The Greatest Love of All, which she nailed. But it came down between her and Deborah Cox for the contract. They chose Brandy, and the rest is history. For her manager, Sonia made a sacrifice. She quit her job to become her full-time manager, or momager in this case. Her recording dreams were finally becoming true, but before, or perhaps while working on her debut album, she was casted on the show Thea. Starring Thea Vitale, it was about a single mother raising her 4 kids. Show started off well, but it didn't end that way as it only ran for a single season. Also, it was alleged that Thea and Brandy, and to an extension Sonia, had tension on set. But with the show ending, it allowed Brandy to focus on music full time. On September 1994, she released her self-titled debut album. Her first single was I Wanna Be Down, and that song reached number 1 on the R&B charts and number 6 on the Hot 100. Her next single was Baby, and that was even more successful, reaching number 4 on the Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B charts. Her album went quadruple platinum. At the end of this album cycle, she was nominated for Best New Artist and Best Female R&B Vocal Performance for Baby. On her debut, she had a song called Broken Hearted, originally a solo. Someone thought of an idea to make this a duet, so Wanya Morris of Boyz II Men, whom Brandy had a crush on for years, was recruited and was pushed as the final single for the album. Broken Hearted went to number 9 on the Hot 100 and number 2 on the R&B charts. What became was a relationship between the two despite a 6-year age difference, but Wanya had wandering eyes, and 1 month before her 19th birthday, he called off the relationship. Wanya's eyes wandered to Freak Like Me singer and Brandy's label mate, Adina Howard. Sylvia Rohn became aware of this love triangle and told Adina to focus on her music and not the relationship with Wanya, and Adina was said to be blackballed from this love triangle. 1996 would be an interesting year for Brandy. She got involved in soundtracks. First on Waiting to Excel, she recorded the Babyface written tune Sitting Up in My Room. The song reached number 2 on the Hot 100, only being held out by the massive One Sweet Day. Later that same year, Brandy teamed up with rising star Tamia and R&B vets and Gladys Knight and Shaka Khan on the song Missing You, which made an appearance on the Set It Off soundtrack. And fun fact, Brandy was approached to be in the movie but backed out, likely due to scheduling conflicts. But that song only reached number 25 on the Hot 100 and number 10 on the R&B charts. While Brandy was on tour, her father received a call from Ralph Farquhar. He wrote a pilot for a new show with Brandy in mind. The show would be called Moesha, a show about a teenager and her navigating through her family, school, and her peers. But Brandy's first reading didn't go well, but since Ralph really wanted this show to get on board, he hired Facts of Life and Living Single actress Kim Fields to coach Brandy. A pilot was ordered for CBS, however, CBS pulled out last minute and the creators scrambled for another network. UPN, now known as the CW, picked up the project, and after the pilot was ordered, UPN picked up the rest of the season and Moesha was born. Brandy obviously did the theme song, and it gave fans a new perspective for Brandy for those who didn't know her. Moesha was one of the UPN's highest rated shows at the time, and Brandy won an NAACP award for her role, and Moesha ran for 6 seasons, getting canceled in 2001. But in 1997, Brandy made her film debut on I Know What You Did Last Summer. Then she got the opportunity of a lifetime when she worked with her idol Whitney Houston on the interpolation of Cinderella. The movie is known for its racial diversity as it was distributed by Disney. In 1998, Brandy started to work on her second album. A producer named Dallas Austin was writing a duet with another teen R&B singer named Monica. The song will be called The Boy Is Mine, but rumors stated that personalities clashed during the recording of the song, but things came to a head before the 1998 VMAs when Monica allegedly sucker punched Brandy.
They went to do, was it the AMAs or MTV? They went to do one of them, but Monica never liked Brandy, and Brandy, she was like, Monica's very ghetto when it came down to it. She was like, she's too proper and she's too this, and I think Brandy might have looked at her a certain way a couple of times and looked at her like the little, and so from that point, it was just like they, even to have them do The Boy Is Mine, Monica was like, nope, not doing no song with her. Saw each other to do it was, I think it was American Music Awards or something. And before they could even get to the stage, Monica decked her in the face, popped in the face backstage. And I'm like, oh my God, this is even before the performance. So everybody's trying to know how we're gonna have a performance that looked like they're not, at war with each other. But it worked out because the song was supposed to be at war with each other. So nobody could really tell that she had punched in the face before the performance.
Regardless of the negative publicity, the song became the pair's first #1 hit on the Hot 100 and was the song of the summer for 1998. It won them a Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a Duo Group. In June 1998, she released her second album, Never Say Never. Later that year, she released the song Have You Ever, written by Diane Warren. The song became her second #1 Hot 100 single. Have you ever loved somebody so much? Thanks to Have You Ever and The Boy Is Mine, Never Say Never went 5 times platinum. Brandy got involved in another relationship with Mace, but that soured and it led Mace to diss her on the song Same N-Words. Mace set the line, then they wonder why I want no family, what I need a hooker from, getting head from. Mace censored that last word, but fans connected the dots because family sounds similar to Brandy. But by this time, Hollywood was taking over. She was still doing Moesha, but she teamed up with R&B diva Diana Ross on the made-for-TV film Double Platinum. And this was the first movie where she was an executive producer. In 2001, her sitcom Moesha came to an end, and she started to work on her third album. During the process, she started to date Robert Big Bert Smith. The same year, she became pregnant, and in June 2002, gave birth to a daughter, Sarai Smith. In the midst of her pregnancy, she released her third album, Full Moon. One thing about Brandy, her first 2 albums mostly held a family-friendly image. Full Moon was a break from that image as she was transitioning into an adult. First of such transition was the song What About Us. The song reached #7 on the Hot 100. What about all of the things that you said? What about all the promises that you made? Her next single was the title track, and that went to #18 on the Hot 100. I ain't even gonna front, I ain't even gonna lie. Since you walked up in the Full Moon undersold her previous efforts, only going platinum, and critics were mixed due to the direction, but over time, Full Moon was deemed a cult classic amongst fans. The fans didn't have to wait long for the next era. Her 4th album, Aphrodisiac, was released in June 2004. Lead-off single was Talk About Love, featuring producer Kanye West. But the song only reached the top 40 of the Hot 100 and the top 20 on the R&B charts. There weren't any more substantial hits as the album only went gold. After this, Brandy decided to leave Atlantic. In 2005, Brandy became a judge on the first season of America's Got Talent, but this would be her only season of the show, and she was replaced by Sharon Osbourne. In 2006, Brandy was involved in a car accident. Sources and stories differ on what occurred that day, but what is known, Brandy was driving at 65 miles an hour, which is about average for a highway, but was late noticing a slowdown in the highway. This caused her to crash into a vehicle of a 38-year-old woman who would crash into a median and will also hit another vehicle. The 38-year-old woman was taken to the hospital but will die from her injuries. Brandy herself wasn't injured, nor was under the influence, nor distracted by her cell phone. Brandy was not charged for the accident, but faced a $50 million lawsuit from the family of the deceased, which was settled with Brandy giving the children of the deceased $300,000 each. Did this cause a dent in her career? Well, that's part of the reason why she left America's Got Talent, but Brandy tried to move forward. In 2008, she released her fifth album, now under Epic, Human. The album was mostly produced by Darkchild, who gave her hits back in 2001. It had the single Right Here Departed, and that song reached the top 40 of the Hot 100. But the album had no other hits, and the album undersold despite mostly positive reviews. Thus, Brandy would leave Epic. During this time, she unleashed a rap alter ego named Brand New. Brand New made her debut on Timbaland's compilation album, Timbaland Presents Shock Value 2. Brandy will return to television at this time. In 2010, she teamed up with her brother Ray J on the VH1 reality show, Brandy and Ray J, A Family Business. That same year, she was a contestant on Dancing with the Stars. On the show, she impressed judges and audience, so it came as a shock that she was eliminated just before the finale. Many claim that she's one of the greatest to never win Dancing with the Stars. In 2011, she was casted on the show The Game. Her character Chardonnay started off as a recurring character, but by the next season, promoted to a series regular. In 2012, she released her sixth album, 211, and had the song Put It Down featuring Chris Brown. The song saw her return to the top 10 on the R&B charts, going number 3. If you put it down right, like the way I want it, play it goes right, maybe. In 2015, after her stint on The Game had ended, she starred in the Broadway musical Chicago. Then BET gave her her own sitcom called Zoe Ever After, but the show only lasted 8 episodes where Brandy decided to move on from the project. In 2018, she appeared on the show Star as Cassandra, and like with The Game, she originally started as recurring until promoted to series regular. In 2020, Brandy released her 7th album, B7, her first as an independent artist. Throughout her career, Brandy has been part of a beef with Monica. I already mentioned some of the origins of the beef, but over time, industry politics pitted the girls against each other. But as they got older, the women began to heal old wounds. In 2012, they recorded a song, It All Belongs to Me, and that song appeared on Monica's 7th album, New Life. In 2020, Brandy and Monica did a versus battle on Instagram, and with 1.2 million viewers at one point, it was the highest viewed versus. In 2024, thanks to Ariana Grande's song The Boy Is Mine, the pair appeared on the video and eventually the remix, a remix that saw a Grammy nomination. And in 2025, Brandy and Monica announced the Boy Is Mine tour with accompanying appearances from Money Long, Kelly Rowland, and American Idol winner Jamal Roberts. While her beef with Monica was getting resolved, Brandy got involved in another beef with Jack Harlow, and this one started when Jack didn't recognize Brandy's vocals on one of her songs, and this led Brandy to drop a freestyle to Jack Harlow's #1 hit First Class, and in the freestyle, she kept plugging in the word Jack. Long story short, they made amends when both artists performed together at the 2022 BET Awards. As for her recent activities, she appeared on the short-lived ABC show Queens. In 2024, she appeared on the movie Descendants 4: The Rise of Red. There, she reprised her role as Cinderella, and it was announced that she'll reprise her role again in The Descendants 5. That same year, she announced that she'll be producing and starring in a Christmas Lifetime movie with her daughter Saray, who has since started her own music career while getting her bachelor's in entertainment business. But overall, Brandy has seen highs, been through lows. She got through some yeses, but had to go through some no's to get there. But in the end, Brandy has established herself as an icon for the ages. And that concludes the story of Brandy. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Please hype, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.